I kept telling them, I feel so much pressure. It's so painful. I feel pressure. And they're like, well, if you just feel pressure, we're not going to be able to give you more drugs. Like, you either have to say it's either pressure or pain. I was like, it's pressure and pain. I feel both of it at the same time. Hi everyone, so this has been a semi-anticipated video. This is my labor and delivery video. I do have a labor and delivery vlog, so if you actually want to see the process, you can go to that video after you see this one, of course. But this will basically be me describing what my experience was like as a first-time mom. I know I wanted to know everybody else's experiences, and so I watched a whole bunch of labor and delivery stories. And if you're a first-time mom, you will be able to know at least a little bit about my experience. Of course, everybody's experience is different, and as I get into this story time video, you'll understand why I'm saying this. So let's begin. All of you that watch my vlogs know that when I was on the last trimester, I'd say week 36, I was so over being pregnant. So I was trying everything I possibly could. Well, not everything, but I tried a couple of things to get this process going a little faster. So I drank ginger tea, I walked a lot. I work in New York City, so I definitely walked a lot. And I tried eggplant parmesan, and the only thing that eggplant parmesan did was give me bad contractions with no labor. And when I tried the ginger tea the first time, it didn't do anything. So okay, let's hurry this along because then this will be the longest video of history. On March 14th, I decided to go to work because on March 13th, that was a Sunday, I went to church and my very good friend was like, oh, your belly looks high today. And I was like, no, we're going the wrong direction. It's supposed to look low, not high. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to work tomorrow. If you've been in New York City, you know those blocks are no joke. So I was like, let me go into work. Let me get some walking in. So hopefully my belly will go down a bit. So I went to work on the 14th. That day I was feeling contractions. If you also watch my vlogs, you know that I had Braxton Hicks. And I wasn't sure if it was the Braxton Hicks or it was actual contractions. So walking definitely helped. So when I got home, I get home around 6:30 p.m. from work. I got home. I decided to edit the nursery video, which I'm actually in my daughter's nursery right now. I decided to edit the nursery video. Before I started editing, I decided to drink some ginger tea to see if it would hurry it up along. Although it didn't work the first time, I felt that maybe since I had contractions and maybe if I drank the ginger tea this time it would work. So I made myself some ginger tea. I laid in bed and started editing the nursery tour video. Literally as soon as I am done editing and I'm about to go on YouTube to put it up, I get up from bed. So I was laying down, so I sit up straight like this, and then I feel a gush of water just coming down. So you know how your period feels like when you first get it and maybe you're not expecting it and you kind of feel like a rush? That's kind of what it felt like, but obviously I knew it wasn't that because I was pregnant. So I got up and I like stayed there. I was like, what was that? And so I get up and then I feel it again. I was like, oh my god, my water just broke. Literally, that's what I said. And so I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. I was so excited that my water broke, you guys, because when your water breaks, you don't experience pain. It's just, you know, labor's about to begin and it's so exciting. So, and I really wanted my water to break because I know when your water breaks, they can't send you back home from the hospital. So let's say your water does not break and you go to the hospital. Sometimes they tell you to go back home because you're not so far along in laboring. They tell you to labor at home, and I did not want that to happen. I didn't want to be in pain at home. I just wanted to be in the hospital and be safe and sound. Well, not sound, but at least be safe. So I was excited my water broke. At least at that point I was pretty sure it was my water that broke. So the first thing I did was what I just did right now. I grabbed my phone, and the first person, of course, that I was gonna contact is my husband. So I call my husband, and I'm on the phone, and he does not pick up the phone. I was like, okay, so let me call my mom. So I call my mom, and it's ringing. She doesn't pick up the phone either. So I was like, really? When my water breaks, nobody wants to pick up the phone. This is ridiculous. So all of a sudden I'm like freaking out. I'm like, okay, so what do I do? All of a sudden I hear the door, and it's my husband with his best friend Shailene. And I was like, babe, I'm in the room, and obviously he's in the living room because he's just coming in. I'm like, babe. He's like, what? I was like, I think my water just broke. He's like, what? So I call the doctor, and so I call the doctor, and I tell her, I think my water just broke. And she was like, well, some women think that it's their water that breaks, and it's not really. Just wait another hour, and if you keep feeling that rush of water, which when I say water, obviously it's amniotic fluid, but she's like, if you still feel that rush, call me, then that definitely means your water broke. I'm like walking around the room, and then it just happens again, and I see this puddle on the floor, and I'm like, yep, this cannot be anything else. This is definitely my water that broke. So I called her. It wasn't even an hour. I think it was like 15 minutes. I was like, I'm pretty sure that it was my water that broke. I'm leaving puddles all over the room. She's like, okay, go to the hospital whenever you like. So I took a shower, I got my hospital bag. Everything was like going so smoothly and great. I was in no pain. My mother comes over with my sister. We take her car to the hospital. And then when I'm in the car, I feel this grand gush of water. It was like ridiculous. Truly, I did not know that I had so much amniotic fluid inside. Like, I was like, really? I'm still like, there's still amniotic fluid coming down? I don't understand. But when I got to the hospital lobby, that's when it was a real big gush. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. They're like, it's okay. It's okay. You know, you're pregnant. You're in labor. So literally, as I get in the wheelchair, and in the vlog, you'll see this where I'm like, I'm on the wheelchair, and the guy's like reeling me in. I'm like, my water just broke. Like, literally, it was just like gush and gush and gush and gush. It was like ridiculous. So I get to my room, and I was feeling really self-conscious about that. And everybody was just telling me to relax. I just felt like I really peed on myself, like really bad, like the pee of the century. That's what it felt like. And so everybody's like, just relax, like, you know, you're in labor. So I'm laying in bed, they check me, and they tell me that I'm 0 centimeters dilated. Yes, I said 0 centimeters dilated. I thought I was at least a 3, maybe, something like that. So anyway, so I'm just laying there, not feeling much. I got to the hospital at 10 o'clock at night. So at this point, it was probably like midnight or something. So they checked me, and they said I was like 4 centimeters. And then they checked me again maybe an hour later, and I was still 4 centimeters. So I was 4 centimeters for like, let's just say, a really long time. So they kept pushing the epidural on me, and I said I did not want to get the epidural. I was gonna try to not get the epidural, but as soon as I got there, literally like, so you want to get the epidural? And I did research, and I know there are some side effects in getting the epidural, and I also know it costs a lot more if you get an epidural. So I was really trying to hold off and be brave, but they were like, you know, you've been 4 centimeters for a long time, and you're not going to give birth until the next day. So you're going to be in pain the whole night. You're not going to be able to sleep, and you need to be relaxed in order to have this baby. And plus, we're going to give you Pitocin to hurry this along. And I was like, I'm going to be honest with myself. You know, I was like, I know I'm going to end up getting the epidural probably later on. Why would I want to put myself through all that pain knowing I'm going to give in and probably get it at the end? So I was like, you know, I want to get it. My mom's like, no, you need to be a woman. You need to be strong. I had all 3 of you, and I didn't get an epidural. Like, she really didn't want me to, but I know it's because she didn't want me to suffer from back pains and those side effects that the epidural may cause. And my husband looked at me, and he said, babe, you're the one that's going through the pain. If you want to get it, I support you 100%. Also, if you don't want to get it, I also support you, but you have to rest. So I was like, give me the epidural, please. When I first got to the hospital, we had the most horrible nurse, to say the least. She was just not really nice. She was very rough along the edges, I guess you can say. And you know, this was my first baby, and she wasn't very informative, and she just wasn't a very nice nurse. Let's just put it that way. She wasn't. So my husband got annoyed very quickly, and he actually went to the front desk and he asked for her to be changed because, you know, I'm going through this process. I don't need to be stressed out anymore with a nurse that is not enjoying her job. So they actually didn't switch her, but she came in and she was like the nicest person in the world. All of a sudden she was like, can I help you with this? Can I help you with that? Can I help you with this? And it was the funniest thing. Anyway, that was just a small like snippet that I forgot to let you guys know in the beginning. But anyway, I requested to get the epidural, and then they told me that my husband had to leave the room. And I was very upset about that because I understood that the one person that can be with you is your husband, and they told him to leave the room. That is so weird. Has that happened to anybody else? And so I'm like holding on to the nurse like this as they're giving me the epidural. And at this point I was having contractions, so I was just like, oh gosh, just get it over with. They're like, don't move. And I'm just like, I was thinking about Jesus. I was thinking about angels. I was asking God to please protect me, that he is healer and that I trust in him. I'm telling you, I did the prayer of my life while I was getting that epidural. So they put the epidural in and I feel amazing. I mean, I feel great. All of a sudden my body started getting numb and I couldn't feel my legs, and that's the weirdest thing ever. If I can describe how it feels, like, you know when you go to the dentist and they numb your mouth to do whatever procedure, and when you feel your cheek you're like, that's what it felt like on my legs. I couldn't move them. I couldn't do anything with them. It was the weirdest feeling in the world, but I did not care because I did not feel the contractions. I slept through the night very peacefully. Then the next morning, I'd say, I started feeling the contractions on one side of my body. So on one side of my body, I didn't feel anything, and on the other side of my body, I felt the contractions. And at this point, I think I was like 7 or 8 centimeters dilated, so it was very painful. Basically, all I kept doing, because I didn't want to, you know, I didn't want to yell or anything like that, I was just like, And if you see my labor and delivery vlog, I'm like going like this with my finger. That's when I was like in a lot of pain, that I felt it on one side. So I was like going like this, you know, just trying to get in the zone, trying to get somewhere. I don't know, I was trying to get somewhere that wasn't the hospital and feeling that pain. They told me if I wanted to call the anesthesiologist again so they can put more medication in because it wasn't working. So anyway, so they came in, they put more medication in, and they put more medication in. This was in intervals that it happened. It wasn't like they put medication, then they put medication. It was like they put medication, it didn't work, so they had to go ahead and do it again. So at this point, I'm like, this is ridiculous. So another anesthesiologist comes in, and she was like, she was very helpful, but she said something that I just wanted to look at her and like, I don't know what I wanted to do, but I was very upset on what she said. So she basically said, when they put your epidural in, they did it wrong. So that's probably why you're feeling contractions on one side of your body. We're going to have to do it again. I was like, what? Come again? You have to do what again? So at this point, I'm like, my God, I'm gonna have the back pains of my life. 2 epidurals? Like, it's ridiculous. So I was like, you know what? Just do it. I ended up doing it. They didn't let my husband in the room again. And so I'm holding on to the nurse again in this position. We're like this again. And so she's about to finish, put the bandages on, and she goes, oh, I put it in the wrong place. We're going to have to do that again. What? I mean, I was so dumbfounded. I was so 3 epidurals? I mean, I don't know what to tell you guys. That's how I was. I'm like out of words right now recording this video. That's exactly how I was. So I was like, okay, so she did it and the pain went away. So I was happy. Once again, I thanked the Lord Jesus. I was excited that my baby was coming because I was already very far along. I was like 8 centimeters dilated. I was like, yes. And then I get the pain on one side of my body again. So they come in and they're like, we're so sorry. We don't want you to be in pain, but we don't understand why this is happening. And I wanted to understand why it was happening, because what was the point of getting an epidural if I was going to feel the pain? I don't understand. I was so upset about that. They kept drugging me more and it just didn't work. Whatever they were doing did not work. At this point, it was already March 15th. It was about, I don't know, 12 something. They literally even took out my catheter to see if that's what it was, and that's not what it was. I mean, they did so many things and I still wasn't relieved from my pain. So I kept telling them, I feel so much pressure. It's so painful. I feel pressure. And they're like, well, if you just feel pressure, we're not going to be able to give you more drugs. Like, you either have to say it's either pressure or pain. I was like, it's pressure and pain. I feel both of it at the same time. And I was like, can you please check me? They're like, we don't want to check you, you know, so often because you can get an infection because your water broke. And, you know, and at this point I was so over it. I was in so much pain, you guys. You know what? People have described contractions as period pains. You guys are lying. You lied to me. It does not feel like period pains. I don't even know how to explain what contractions feel like. My sister asked me, she's like, but what do they feel like? And I said, it feels like death. That's what it feels like death. I mean, it's a pain that I cannot explain. I just knew there was gonna be a rainbow at the end. So I was like, you know, just keep going, Joanne. Just keep going. You're gonna meet your baby. I told them, please check me. At this point, I was in so much pain. And they didn't want to check me. So what they decided to do was insert more drugs. So they put more drugs. And when they inserted the drugs, I don't know whoever got an epidural, you feel it down your back. So I felt kind of like warmth. And then I felt the worst back pain that I've ever experienced in my life. So then it was like back labor and front labor. And at this point, remember I was telling you guys that I was like, at this point I was legit crying, tears and everything. I was like, it hurts so bad. Oh my gosh, I can't do it. I was crying, tears flowing down, tears flowing down. And then my husband's like, I have not seen her in this much pain. Like, she's literally crying. There's something wrong. I thought they like messed up my back. I mean, it was the worst pain in the whole entire world. I felt everything. So then they're like, okay, and my mom's like patting me down with washcloths, and she's like, it's okay, honey, it's okay, you're gonna get through this. And I'm just like, I want the baby out. So they decided to check me. Guess what, you guys? They're like, oh my god, the baby's head is right there, you're about to give birth. Duh, I've been telling you guys this for like hours that I feel pressure and pain. Why didn't they check me? Why? The baby's head was literally right there. All of a sudden, all the doctors are running all over the room like a chicken without a head, all over the room trying to get ready to help me push. So at this point, I'm like hysterically crying. I was like, Mom, I just want to push. And she's like, just push, honey. I was like, no, what do you mean push? There was no doctors there where you're gonna catch the baby? Like, no. But I wanted to push so bad. Literally, the baby was right there. So everybody gets into place and they tell me to push. And somebody told me this and it is true. They said when you push, it actually kind of feels better because you're relieving all that pressure. So in the beginning, it did feel better. So I'm like pushing and I'm thinking, I'm like, am I really pushing a baby out? Like, it was the most surreal experience in the world. Like, I couldn't believe it. I'm pushing, but I was like, am I really pushing a baby out? Like, this is so insane and crazy. I'm pushing, and it literally took me 7 minutes to push the baby out because the baby was right there. And when I first got to the hospital, they said it may be like 2 hours because it was my first baby. Guys, 7 minutes. That's how low the baby was. And so I pushed, and then I heard the first cry, and I was crying, my husband was crying, my mom was crying, his mom was crying. Maybe the doctors were crying. There was a lot of people crying. It was just the best experience in the whole wide world. All that pain, although I still remembered it, it did not mean anything because it was just the greatest blessing in the whole entire world. To hear your baby cry for the first time, it was so amazing. I mean, it's such an unexplainable feeling. I mean, I couldn't believe it. It was so amazing. Like, I can't say that enough. It was really such an amazing experience. And when I held my baby for the first time, again, you guys will be able to see that in the labor and delivery vlog that I have on my channel. So you can go on my channel and check that out, or I'll probably put it in the suggestions right below this. But it was like so surreal. And from then on, you guys actually saw, you know, what happened. But that is basically my labor and delivery story. So now my baby girl is here and I adore her, and you guys all have seen her either through my Instagram, my Snapchat, and here on my vlogs. She's already a month old, well, 6 weeks tomorrow to be exact, and she's been the greatest blessing in my life. I still remember the pain, but I'd say if I would do it all over again, I would. I mean, it's just so amazing. It really is. It's just a feeling that you cannot describe. Like, you look at this little child and you realize how you created such a perfect little human being. So thank you guys for all your love and support and for following me on this amazing journey with my child. My husband and I are so grateful for all of you, and thank you for watching this video and for watching all of my videos. If you have any other video suggestions, please leave it down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this story time video, and I hope I brought you there with me. So until the next video, and the next video will actually be the question and answer. I asked you guys to ask my husband and I questions, and that we'll answer them. So the next video is going to be the question and answer video. As always, we love you guys so much. Thank you for your continuous support. Thank you for all your comments. Thank you for all your love. And if you are new to my channel, please subscribe so you can be up to date with all of my videos, and you can follow us along on this amazing journey. We love you guys. Bye.